you know that the piano, by definition, is actually a percussion instrument? This means that it's actually more closely related to the cymbals or the triangle than it is to a violin or the human voice. This means that true legato at the piano is actually impossible, at least in the way we think about it in terms of other instruments. Despite this fact, however, most teachers emphasize a finger legato as a basis for every young student's technique because they incorrectly think that this is the best way to develop a fine technique at the instrument. The only problem here is that this isn't how professional pianists play. Professional pianists don't use a true finger legato, at least not most of the time. What they do is create the illusion of legato through beautiful and expressive playing. Don't believe me? Well, to prove this, we're going to watch two recordings. One of Yuju Wang performing the Rachmaninoff G minor prelude, and the other one is Stephen Hough warming up before a recording session playing Moskowski Caprice Espagnole. We're going to watch some passages from both of these recordings in full normal speed, then some slow motion, then we're going to do a brief analysis. Check it out. You'll notice that in her left hand, she constantly glides across the keyboard, but she's always letting go. She never gets stuck. This is a mistake that young or amateur pianists make a lot, is they try to connect every note. But there's many places where we can't actually connect notes, and the faster we go, the more of an almost non-legato touch we actually have. As she moves across, she's letting go of the previous note as she goes to the next note. And then she has this air time as she moves across. I believe she's using fourth finger in the recording, but no matter, same thing. She still has to just let go and just move. Yeah, I think that's what she's doing. She crosses over. But she still has to do the same thing. Let go. If we don't use pedal, and then later, she goes to the G, same thing. Let's go. Same thing again. And back to the G, all this air time. And then she has to do this. Now, she's not really connecting this note. You can't exactly see it in the recording, but let me tell you, this is a seventh. This puts my hand in a very strange position. I can't really connect that note. I have to just let go, and because my arm is constantly in motion, it gets me right there, and I let go of my thumb. Again, I don't try to connect this. If I try to connect this, there's no way this is going to work at speed. I just let go. Same thing here. Don't try to connect my third finger to my thumb. Just let go. Let go. If I play it without pedal, you can hear it. Okay? But because she's using pedal, but because she's matching her sound from one note to the next, we can't play a true legato at the piano, but what we can do is match one sound to the next. If the attack of the key remains the same, it doesn't sound very smooth because we have attack and then decay, and then attack and then decay. But if instead what I do is I match one sound to the next, like so, softer, and then, because I'll run out of sound eventually, I get louder again. It sounds much smoother. The same thing is true here. And yes, she has to use the pedal. So a lot of times I've heard teachers telling their students the pedal cannot be used for legato, you have to use your fingers. This is, in my opinion, an idiotic idea, and this recording proves it. All right, so now let's do a brief analysis of the Moskovsky with Stephen Hough. You'll notice that he's kind of playing around. So he's taking a little time and goofing off a little bit. But you'll notice, so this, between the first two notes is a seventh. You can't really see his thumb. But again, I'm going to tell you, this would be ridiculous to try to connect. Because my arm is more down here than it is up here, and I have to get to my fourth finger. That would be extremely awkward. So instead, he throws his arm up, oops, goes to his thumb, and you can clearly see he just goes out to his fourth finger. There's absolutely no connection because he plays the key here and he plays the key here. That's not possible to connect, okay? So he plays and just goes. Now this is a tenth. Again, there are very few pianists that could actually connect that, and virtually none of them really would, especially if they're playing fast. It's too fast to possibly do that. So he just leaps over. Again, you can't see his thumb, but that's what he's actually doing. If you watch his arm movements, you can see that. Leap up, and then I let go and go to this new position. And then again, leap up, and then again, this is not really going to be connected either, because that would be really awkward. It's going to put my hand in a very awkward position. I just go, I let go of my thumb, and go right there, okay? In both positions, both going up the keys and coming down the keys from thumb to my other finger. And this works brilliantly because then I don't get stuck trying to connect everything.